And if you're looking to make any kind of lifestyle changes or any change when it comes to bettering your quality of life, that is going to require you to adopt something new. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Sharjeel and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be exploring the 5 categories that I personally like to optimize for myself and clients when it comes to building muscle, losing fat, and just overall having a better quality of life. Alright, so let's jump into it. Yallah, bismillah. Okay, now before we get into it, I really have to say something important, and that is the mental structure and mental framework that you have to have when approaching any of these things. This mental framework is something that I personally took from Alex Hormozi, and it is called New Identity, New Priorities. So essentially, here's how it works. So right now, there's the current you, spending time and money producing the results you have, and then there's a future you that you want to become. So when you adopt a new identity, you automatically create new priorities. So at some point, we have to draw the line in the sand and say, do you want to keep walking on the path you're on, or do you want to step across into that new identity, that future identity of yours with those new priorities? And if you're looking to make any kind of lifestyle changes or any change when it comes to bettering your quality of life, that is going to require you to adopt something new. Okay, so with that being said, category number 1 is hormones. So turns out 4 out of 10 men over 45 are already clinically low in testosterone, and they really don't have any clue because most people don't get blood work checked, which you should be doing every single year. Basically, as you get older, your body's not able to run the same way as it did before. So what does that mean? That means that your muscle mass starts to go down, your libido drops, and it also multiplies risk factors for things like packing on belly fat, diabetes.
I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes. Actually, about diabetes and
heart disease, and in women, osteoporosis, bone fertility, and neurocognitive decline as well, because you're not getting the neuroprotective benefits of your testosterone aromatizing into estrogen, and estrogen then being the one thing that helps with all those things. Hormones are the main pushers that signal the body what to do. So if we put something like testosterone in the framework, we know that our brain sends signals to our testes to help send a message to build and repair muscle, keep bones dense, fire up your libido, and sharpen motivation. And the ones who receive that are your muscle fibers, bone cells, regions of the brain, hair follicles, and all these other things. And so if that signal drops below a certain threshold, those tissues never get the memo, right? So muscles will shrink, energy lags, mood dips, brain fog, obviously loss of motivation as well. All right, so what's the solution now? So you've got a couple of different solutions. Solution number 1 is lifestyle changes. And in the lifestyle changes, simple things that you can do is start going outside, getting sunlight, going on walks, just getting the body moving, and to add in exercise 2 or 3 times a week, specifically weight training. And that's going to help with the mitigation of bone density and muscle mass that's going to come with aging. The other thing you can do are dietary changes, switching to more whole foods in your diet rather than a lot of processed foods, eating more protein, and understand that carbs are not your enemy. They are a tool and an energy source that needs to be leveraged and used in moderation. Obviously, if you eat a ton of carbs, a ton of anything, you can drink a ton of water and just die from over drinking water. Oh, it turns out it's called water intoxication. Watch out for that one. But the way you should be using your carbs is to replenish your glycogen. So pre and post workout really are where your carbs should be implemented and then just sprinkled on as flavoring throughout the day. The other thing you can do is supplementation, and within supplementation there are subcategories. So you can do the natural path. So taking things over the counter, zinc, boron. I personally take Sigma, which is a blend of all those things that includes really everything I need from Gorilla Mind. So you guys can go check that out. And so the middle path is getting on SARMs, which is basically enclomiphene. That's really your go-to SARM because enclomiphene hits the system from the top down. Your brain produces 2 compounds, that is your LH and FSH, and those 2 are what goes to your testes and signals your testes to produce the testosterone. So enclomiphene actually mimics and increases the signal that your brain produces of LH and FSH, so that way you're increasing your testosterone in a more holistic manner and not shutting anything off, not having any issues with fertility or any crazy kind of side effects that would come with the next one, which is HRT. So HRT is a tricky one because you have to just get it done correctly. Most of the times especially when testosterone therapy or TRT was becoming super popular. You had a bunch of bump clinics opening up and just giving guys a bunch of testosterone at things like 500, 700 milligrams per week, and basically run into a bunch of crazy side effects. Getting it done from a proper clinic is really important. Okay, next category is your lifestyle. So we can say that sedentary lifestyle is the number one biggest killer. Your body's not made to sit in a chair for 8 hours a day. So stats show that average American now sits 9.5 hours every single day. That is a lot. Longer than they sleep, definitely longer than I sleep. The one habit alone spikes the risk of dying from heart disease by 34%. Globally, the WHO says up to 5 million deaths per year could vanish if we simply got up and moved. So don't sit down all day and eat snacks and potato chips. That doesn't seem like it's the way to do it. Okay, so what's the solution? The solution isn't to go run 10 miles right now after watching the video, or to run 10 miles tomorrow, or even the next day. I don't think that is the way to approach it. The way to approach it is to add in basic changes that are low stress, easy to do, and give you the most ROI. Walking, you can walk every single day without any issues. Number two is having some dietary awareness and intelligence, which essentially means that you are aware of what you're eating and you just modulate it day to day. You know, if you're having one bad day, it's not gonna ruin everything. However, if you have 3 bad days, then I would be concerned and worried about where things are going, which is normally what happens, right? It's like when the weekend hits, when Friday comes around, people start drinking, they start smoking, they go out, you're eating out, all this crazy, crazy dense food. And it's no wonder you're not losing any weight, because all week long, maybe you were doing super, super good. You've been eating 2,000 calories every single day, for example. And then on the weekend, all of a sudden you just jumped 4,000, 5,000, 4,000 over the course of 3 days. Well, I mean, you've just completely destroyed everything that you've worked so hard for. Why would you do that? It doesn't seem like the intelligent thing to do, so stop doing it. Okay, next, workout and exercise. So the moment you turn 30, your body starts deleting muscle, up to 8% every decade if you do not fight it back. But a meta-analysis from 2022 shows that as little as 30-60 minutes of weightlifting per week slashes all-cause mortality by 20%. That's crazy, because that's not a lot to do. 30-60 minutes of weightlifting per week? Is that correct? Man, that's really good. So you gotta work out. Here's a clip that I found of Dr. Peter Attia talking about the importance of it, so you guys check it out.
I don't think you can overstate the importance of strength training. If you're in the camp that says, I want to maximize how well I can live and maybe even how long I can live, what should I do? Then you have to be lifting weights regardless of age, regardless of sex, regardless of injury. You have to work around all of those things. Research is very consistent here in demonstrating that resistance training can increase muscle strength and muscle hypertrophy at any age. There was a study that looked at people in their late 70s and early 80s and people in their 20s, and it at the outset measured 3 rep max for leg extension, and then put them on a 6-week resistance training program. And the people in their late 70s and early 80s had a 78% increase in their strength, which is almost identical to the 84% increase that was found in the younger individuals. This is an important point, that is, everybody has the capacity to improve, and therefore everybody needs to be doing this.
Okay, now when it comes to working out or exercise, I think people get really honestly scared and shy away from it. And I think it comes down to 3 things. The first one is time. People say they don't have the time for it, which we're going to dismantle in a second. They don't know what to do. Again, not a very good excuse. And number 3, they don't have the money. So first thing, when it comes to time, is that you do have the time. If you were to check something like your screen time, which is probably a common one you've heard before, you can make the time to go outside, go for a walk, or go into the gym for 60 minutes and hit some weights and do some exercise. It again has to go back with the new identity, new priorities, principle, and framework. You have to adopt a new set of priorities in order for you to make the change from where you are to where you want to go. Number 2, people say they don't know what to do. With the age of the internet, I think that's not a valid reason anymore. The internet has now become an encyclopedia of exercise that you can follow. And especially with ChatGPT or any of these AI bots that you can just ask to build you a workout program, just don't skip legs. Okay, third one, you don't have the money, which is not true. If you, what are you watching this video on? You're probably watching on a TV, an iPad, an iPhone, something, right? You have the money, it's just just where are your priorities? You can get a gym membership for 20, 30 bucks a month. It's just monetary allocation at that point, where your priorities lie. All right, next category, diet and nutrition. So apparently more than half the calories of the average American eats now come from ultra processed foods, and every extra serving drives up death risk by 5%, which is not a lot, but over the course of an extra serving every single day times 365 times maybe 20, 30 years, that is a lot. A 2023 BMJ umbrella review linked the highest intake to sharp spikes in obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and even depression. That stinks. That does not sound fun to me at all. I do not want to live my life like that at all. So what's the importance of your diet and nutrition? It provides you the fundamental building blocks for your body and its functions. So if you are driving the brand new SF90 or a Huracan or some crazy, or SVJ. I love me some SVJ. I love me an NA V12. That is awesome. Or my favorite, the 812 Superfast. If you are driving any of these crazy supercars or even any high-class car, you are not going to put the cheapest, crappiest gas in it. You are going to put in the best gas. You're going to take care of that thing. You're going to wash it. You're going to make sure it has no scuffs. You're going to wax it, clean it every single week and every single day. You're going to be looking with your light, your phone light, to make sure there are no scratches. You would do that for a car, but you wouldn't do that for yourself. That the one thing that makes that car useful is you. So if you want the car to work, you also have to work too, right? So let's treat our bodies the same way we would treat those material objects as well. We only get one body. You can always buy a new car. Okay, so common issues. Ultra high processed foods are super calorie dense. That's number one. That's something you have to know. I personally believe that a lot of people consume a lot of different cooking oils. Olive oil, coconut, avocado, ton of butters as well. Peanut butter, almond butter, any kind of nut butter that is super high in fats, super high in calories, and it's just easy to consume, right? When you have, for example, 100 grams of peanuts, that's very different than 100 grams of peanut butter. 100 grams of peanut butter, you'll probably get that in one sandwich. Got to be very careful when it comes to these dense foods. All right, so what's the solution? Number one, you got to make smart eating decisions. So don't consume a bunch of the oils and butters, and don't just throw away the good habits you developed over the week on the weekend, right? Something that we are circling back to full circle. Next is to switch to whole foods. So that means lean beef, your chicken thighs, game meats are really, really lean. If you love them, eat them. Tuna, your whitefish, rice, fruits, veggies, sweet potatoes, all super, super awesome, packed with great micronutrients and macronutrients that as long as you eat in moderation, then you will be good. Now, my personal favorite, last category is supplementation. So really important to understand that supplements, they fill in the gap. They do not replace a nutrient-dense, minimally processed diet and consistent training. 40% of adults walk around, something we've realized past couple years, right? Especially a couple years ago, maybe about 5-6 years ago, if anyone remembers, that most adults walk around with vitamin D deficiency because we don't like touching grass. Fewer than 1 in 5 hit basic omega-3 targets, and yet a handful of science-backed low-cost supplements such as vitamin D and K, omega-3s, creatine, methylated B vitamins, quality protein can plug in those gaps for less than the price of a latte. So the importance of this is to recognize, number one, that if you're truly trying to optimize your body and live the best kind of life you can, I think supplements are a no-brainer. That's super, super easy to implement and super easy to navigate. I guess the issues with it really are which ones are legit. You see a lot of different supplements on the market, so which one's right, which one's wrong, what's legit, what's not legit. So here's the solution, okay? This is the only couple of supplements. I say it's the only couple of supplements, but this is your basic supplement stack, okay? Number one, vitamin D and K2, omega-3s, creatine, quality protein powder, preferably whey isolate if you can, otherwise go for whichever one works for you. And that's it. Those are the only things you need. You don't need anything else. Okay, so if anyone's trying to sell you anything else and they say it can do this, it's probably a load of crap. All right, guys, that wraps up today's video. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell thingy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, assalamu alaikum.